But first, I am innocent. That is the plea from the Tory parliamentary researcher accused of spying for China. It's been revealed the 28-year-old Chris Cash was arrested by counter-terrorism police in March on suspicion of espionage and has since been released on bail. The former public school boy and GP's son was the director of an influential parliamentary policy group on Beijing, co-founded by the Security Minister Tom Tugendhat. Cash was also employed as a researcher by Li Qiang, who is chairwoman of the Commons Foreign Affairs Committee and a vocal China critic. Well, in a statement released by his lawyers, Cash insists he is completely innocent, adding he'd spent his career trying to educate others about the challenge and threats presented by the Chinese Communist Party. The alleged security breach has sent Westminster into a frenzy, with outraged MPs furious they were kept in the dark for several months. This afternoon, the Deputy Prime Minister assured the Commons the government was maintaining constant vigilance.
It remains an absolute priority for the government to take all necessary steps to protect the United Kingdom from any foreign state activity which seeks to undermine our national security, prosperity and democratic values. The government has been clear that China represents a systemic challenge to the United Kingdom and to our values. We are clear-eyed about that challenge, and we must be able to look the Chinese in the eye and call out unacceptable behaviour directly.
I completely understand why the other MPs, particularly those MPs that have been sanctioned by the Chinese government, are so upset about this. It's not the fact that there is this chap who has been outed by a newspaper, who may or may not be a security threat and a spy. It's the fact that those MPs who feel that they have some skin in the game, that they are being themselves targeted by the Chinese, weren't told this was going on, because that is dangerous, because a lot of these people have contacts in China who they are working with, who this chap may well now know all about, and those people are in danger because these are people who are applying for political asylum, who are worried that if it becomes known that they are working with British parliamentarians behind the scenes, that they and their families could be in danger. So I get that. I'm not sure that there is a massive cover-up here, because this chap's is out on bail, so the police clearly don't think. Since March, and that's the other thing. It's been such a long time.
Yeah, well, but this clearly shows that there's a big escalation in Chinese activities in the UK. That they've gone from targeting, things online, hacking intellectual property, to now having, people on the ground.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Let's get the legals right.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Allegedly having people on the ground with an interest in UK democracy, allegedly in Parliament, allegedly
You're overdoing it.
Sorry, gone from one extreme to the other. But my point is there's a clear escalation on behalf of China in their activities. And actually, MI6 have been told that they need to put more resources into looking into what China's doing, and more so they're into looking what Russia's doing, that China is much more of a threat now than Russia is.
And this isn't the first time there's been indications that China may have an undue influence at the heart of Westminster. I love the way this guy, Chris Cash, who, as he says, insists he's totally innocent. But I love the way he says, I've spent my career trying to warn people about the dangers of China. You're 28. So I don't think we'll worry too much about this. And also, what Oliver Dowden, the Deputy Prime Minister, said today, they're totally justifiable, acceptable, OK, we're very worried about this, we're going to be very vigilant about this, and we will not stand for this from Russia. Yeah, you will. You will stand for it from China and Russia, but particularly China. We put up with everything from China, and they go, we will look them clear in the eye and tell them we will not have our democratic processes interfered with. Yeah, you could do that, and they'll go, there, so what, we don't care about you. We are impotent in the face of the second biggest economy on the face of the planet. China know that. We're just
and we are such pawns, we are such minnows in this game as well.
Exactly
because the point about China is, this whole thing about belt and braces approach in the whole of, Africa and everywhere. It's got fingers in so many pies. Plus, of course, it's the most populous nation. Is it still, or has India overtaken it? Anyway, the point is, it's massive.
And we need it.
And we need it. And I was just about to say, the point is they don't, you know, how much do they need us and how much do we need them? That's the problem.
Yeah, well, this is the problem.
Imbalance.
I'm surprised there's not more stories coming out about spies. Of course, we've got spies in Westminster.
We've got spies elsewhere as well.
Exactly.
It's part of the world politics. But Kevin's completely right. China will get away with it completely because we're going to them, cap in hand, saying, please give us your business. Please, let's do trade together, please. Because everyone knows China and Russia and India, they're the future powers.
Hey, China, would you stop, please, spewing 28% of carbon emissions into the world's atmosphere? Would you please clean up? No.
OK.
Oh, OK, then.
No, we're going to
well, we won't put up with it. So what? Honestly, we are pathetic in the face of this international giant. And all you get from the likes of Oliver Dowd and Rishi Sunak, for that matter, are tough-talking words that are meaningless and empty. We kowtow and we bow to China every single time because we need it.
And isn't it interesting how, you know, when you look back at history, you know, big history, and you talk about, you know, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, there comes a time when it has its end.
Yeah.
And does it feel, I mean, I was just reading an article the other day which said, is this the end of the Western...
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think it's
and
been
the rise
end
for
for
China.
a while.
For a good
yeah,
while,
definitely.
Britain's broken and America's a trash can on fire.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
Thanks, mate.
on that note,
There you go. We're finished.
take us down to some dating news, because I don't know if you remember the Sun reporter Noah Hoffman, she who had the amazing scoops earlier this year with Chris Pincher, pretty much brought down the government at the time. Well, she's had an influence on this story. In a bizarre twist, it turns out that she's been matched online with Chris Cash, the alleged Chinese spy. So this is on a dating app called Hinge, and she had swiped left or right or whatever it is. She'd been impressed by his sweet profile. She said he was attractive, clearly into sports, and had a thriving social life, and they arranged to go for drinks on multiple occasions and actually never did. She said once she couldn't be bothered and she was too tired. She'd probably just brought a government down, so she was too tired. And other times he came down with COVID. When she asked him if they were still on for a date, he responded, "Such a skeptic, not without good reason, to be fair." And then another time she said, she made a joke about joining his organisation, and he replied, "Be careful what you wish for."
Wow, what a journalistic insight from her. That's superb. Really adds to the story. She should
Well done to him. He's a keeper. He's a keeper.